Here are 7 signs your money mindset is holding you back. Sign number 1, you think that wanting more money makes you greedy. If you think wanting wealth makes you selfish, you're already losing the game. This belief often stems from childhood experiences, maybe growing up with your parents telling you things like, money doesn't grow on trees, rich people are greedy, money corrupts, or we're not like those people. These messages get internalized. If I want more, am I bad? That's what we walk away thinking. It's really a moral association we have with scarcity. We feel like it's actually safer for us to be broke because it aligns better with our family values. And it's honestly a terrible tragedy because really there is no connection between money and morality. So here's the reframe. Money isn't good. Money isn't bad. It's just a tool. It's like a hammer. A hammer can be used to build something beautiful, or it can be used to destroy something beautiful. It's really up to you what you do with it. In psychology, we call this cognitive dissonance. If you crave success, but you also believe that wealth is evil or that it's bad, your brain is going to sabotage you to help reduce that sense of internal conflict. In other words, it's challenging to hold on to 2 separate beliefs at the same time. I want to be wealthier, but having money is bad. It's a lot easier to just latch on to the belief that having money is bad than it is to do the work to become wealthy. And so that's where most people end up. So if you have a negative association between having money and being a morally good person, try this. Write down 3 positive, generous, meaningful things you would do if you had $10 million. How would you make the world a better place? Let those types of aspirations, that type of moral value, let that anchor your desire to become wealthy. We want people like you to become wealthy anyway. Sign number 2, you're more comfortable being broke than you are being wealthy. If being broke feels normal, if it feels like home, your nervous system may be sabotaging your wealth. I worked with a client who kept sabotaging herself. She would lose jobs. She would not negotiate a pay raise because really what it came down to, she felt unsafe with success. Why? Because her entire childhood, her entire family history was filled with struggle. As a matter of fact, her family prided themselves at overcoming these adversities and on living with less. This was baked into her brain. So subconsciously for her, success felt like a betrayal to this old family story she was living in. This is what I would call financial trauma adaptation. We have a tendency when it comes to our financial life to recreate what we know to be familiar. In psychology, we call this homeostasis. It's where your brain tries to keep things normal, keep things consistent, keep things predictable, even though it might mean dysfunction. If you're more comfortable being broke than being wealthy, ask yourself, what emotions do I associate with having more money? Take an honest look, get a journal, write them out. Then ask yourself, where did this belief come from? Sign number 3, you think that wealth is about luck or privilege. If you think success is just about luck, you're never going to feel in control enough to create it. Sure, of course, some people are born with more privilege than others, but millionaires, did you know that 88% of them are self-made? They didn't inherit their money. They didn't win the lottery. They changed their mindset. They took action and they were able to achieve success. For example, one of my billionaire clients was a first-generation immigrant who started with absolutely nothing. Today, a 10-figure annual business. Was there luck? Yes, there was. It was a bunch of bad luck. His father died when he was young, immigrated to the United States, didn't speak the language, failed second grade, had every barrier up against him. But his mindset and his work ethic, that truly was his privilege. And he was able to create his own luck because he has a mindset where he was constantly looking for the opportunities and the possibilities. He started with nothing and now has gone on to create a billion-dollar legacy for his family. Believing success is out there and it's determined by external forces, this is just quite frankly something that you do to yourself to protect your ego, to protect your self-esteem. It will keep you from feeling like a failure, of course, so there's some emotional benefit in the short term, but it's also going to keep you from trying. And if you're not trying, of course you're going to fail. If you're stuck in this destructive mindset where you think you're going to be poor forever because you weren't born lucky, try this. Make a list of 3 people who weren't born wealthy, but were able to become successful anyway. Study them. Learn their habits. And it might even be helpful to look for people who are very similar to you in terms of their upbringing and demographics. Find someone you can relate to. You need to challenge this belief that it's impossible for you. Sign number 4, you avoid looking at your bank account. Avoiding your money is like refusing to listen to a smoke alarm. It's not going to stop the fire. And this avoidance is often rooted in anxiety. So we might avoid thinking about our money because we have a bunch of financial anxiety. So what do? Because we don't want to feel anxious. We ignore our accounts. We avoid budgeting. We delay opening bills. This isn't because you're bad with money. It's not because you're lazy. It's because you're overwhelmed psychologically. I worked with a couple once who hadn't looked at their credit card statements for over 6 months. Why? Because it triggered panic attacks and it triggered conflict between them. Once we broke it down, they realized that they weren't afraid of the numbers, they were afraid of feeling shame. And this is a stress response. It's part of the fight-flight response. It's the way that our brains cope with a perceived threat. But money problems don't just disappear, they compound, they get worse. Even though your brain may be reacting as if your life is in danger, it's not. You're gonna survive. You're gonna be fine. You're gonna make it through this. So instead of putting your head in the sand and ignoring your financial life, try this instead. Set 15 minutes aside each week for a money date, perhaps with yourself, perhaps with your partner or spouse. Play music, relaxing music. Review one financial area at a time. Just start looking. Sign number 5, you tie your self-worth with your net worth. If your self-esteem is attached to your bank account, every financial dip is going to feel like an identity crisis for you. Money is a measuring stick, but it's a terrible measure of worth. When you hit a goal, you feel amazing. You feel great about yourself. But when stocks drop, when your business gets into trouble, your mood crashes. You are not your income. You are not your portfolio. You are not your credit score. This is related to an addiction to external validation. If your sense of self-worth always comes from achievements, of course you're going to be anxious when those achievements dip. If you're having trouble disconnecting your sense of self-worth from your net worth, try this. Make a list of 5 things you're proud about yourself that have nothing to do with money. Pull those out and read them when you're feeling unworthy. Sign number 6, you fear what people will think about you if you get rich. If you're shrinking your success to fit in, you're sacrificing your future for approval. This is related to your financial comfort zone, where you fear that you may no longer belong to your closest family members and friends because your financial life is different than theirs. You fear being judged. What if they think that you're greedy? What if they think that you sold out? What if they think that you forgot about them or you think that you're better than them? So you stay small. This is typically done subconsciously. You may undercharge. You don't even talk about the wins you have or the goals you have in life. And here's the sad reality. The people closest to you, the people you love, they may be subconsciously sabotaging your success. Why? It's not because they want you to fail. It's not because they want you to be miserable. It's because they don't want to lose you. They worry that if you're climbing the socioeconomic ladder, you're going to leave them. I had a first-generation college grad that I was working with, and she felt guilty every time she got a raise, every time she started to make more money. She felt like it was disconnecting her from her siblings and from her parents. In psychology, we would call this a loyalty conflict. It's where we're thinking that success equals betrayal. If you feel like your social circle is limiting your success, try this. Make it a point to spend some time with people who are along the same path you are, perhaps a step or 2 ahead of you, people who are committed to increasing their financial literacy and becoming financially free. In other words, expanding your social circle to include people who share the same goals you have. Sign number 7, you believe that struggle is more noble than success. If you think suffering is the price of virtue, you're going to reject ease and comfort, even when it shows up. In many families, hard work equals moral value. If something comes easy, it feels wrong. You might feel like you didn't really earn it unless you bled for it. But guess what? The wealthiest people I know, they optimize for ease. It's the entire point. They systematize, they delegate, they make money while they sleep. This mindset is similar to a martyrdom mindset. It's where you feel like the more you suffer, the more valuable you are, as if you're going to win some type of suffering award. If you worry that you might be subconsciously attracted to suffering, try this. Ask yourself, am I creating unnecessary struggle and difficulty in my life to feel worthy? And spend some time with this. Dive deep. Really think about it. And then journal. What would it look like if I built wealth with peace and purpose? If you recognize parts of yourself in any of these 7 signs, it's a gift. Because awareness truly is the first step to transformation. The great news is your money mindset isn't fixed. It was inherited, yes, but it can be rewritten. You don't have to repeat the past. You can choose wealth. You can choose comfort. You can choose success, and you can write a new script for yourself. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe and drop a comment below. Which money belief are you working on right now? I'll see you next time.